Thanks, Mel. So welcome to the Northern Regional Council meeting on the 23rd of September. It's our last meeting for our 3-year term, and we'll have to wait for the results for the next one. Okay, so I've asked Amy to start with the karakia.
Kia ora, kia ingoe tātou. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mākina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai, e he ake ana te ata kura, he tio, he hoka, he hauhu, tūturu whakamaua kia tīna, ihei mauri ora.
Okay, we've received no apologies, so we don't have to move those. Declarations of conflict of interest, we'll declare those as we go through our agenda items. We turn to page 6 and confirmation of the minutes from the 26th of August 2025, item 5.1. Got to move it.
Yep.
And Jack, you got a seconder for those minutes?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's any issues with the minutes?
It appears that all matters arising are covered in the reports from my perspective, Mr. Chair. Kia ora.
Okay. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Okay, received. Okay, if we talk to page 18, receipt of the action sheet on item 5.2, report from Chris Taylor, that the action sheet be received. Do I have a mover and a second? Okay, Amy?
You second
John? Okay. Any issues there?
Yep, I just want to ask about them. We did talk about the meeting with directors. Have we got a date for that? Is that date with the new directors, MNH?
Northport.
Yeah.
Chair.
Yep.
You can respond.
Yes.
Yeah, we have tried extremely hard to find a time that would work for ourselves, Tupu Tonu, and our 3 directors, and it's just proven not possible to find a date before elections.
Oh, no, not for elections, just. Yeah,
We are still working on that, and we haven't got a date yet, but we will do. And as discussed at the recent workshop, we've sought to have the MOU signed.
Yep.
Though this side of elections, and we will look to have a first meeting with our directors and with Tupu Tonu as a priority in the new term.
Thank you.
So tomorrow's placeholder at 10:30 is no longer. Yeah.
Yes. I think the discussion, Jono, was that we're trying to align it with their board meeting as well.
Yeah, good.
Yes, we were going to look for efficiencies, try and find when those 3 directors were already locked in.
Okay, any other issues with the receipt of action? Okay, all in favour?
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to follow up on the sites of significance and learn what conversations have occurred with the Far North District Council, particularly with regard to Te Rautaki o Te Oneroa Tohe, which is one of the responsibilities of that statutory board, the Te Oneroa Tohe statutory board.
Okay, Ruben, I'll just point out at George to see if you want to respond, but you've got Ruben in the room.
Kia ora, Chair, through you, Chair. We've met with Far North District Council and Iwi staff to form a technical advisory group and brought that to the board through a workshop, particularly to discuss the terms of reference for that technical advisory group. Part of the work program the advisory group will be working on will be confirming the process for identifying sites of significance. That will be brought to the board for endorsement. So the next step is for staff to bring the terms of reference and a work program to the Te Oneroa Tohe Beach Board at the next meeting next week for endorsement. Following that, the advisory group, which includes FNDC staff, will be working towards sites of significance, which we will bring to the board for endorsement before the end of this year is the plan, but it obviously depends on appointment of councillors to the board following elections.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just in response to that, can I please learn how the Treaty Settlement Act for those specific iwis is being considered by that technical board, and if they are aware that in fact many of those sites are documented in that specific legislation.
Through you, Chair, yes, but we're aware of the settlement legislation and the statutory requirements that it places upon local authorities, and so that will be a consideration for us to take into account when we bring a recommendation to the board.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, because they are documented there in the legislation. Kia ora.
Okay. Any other discussions around this? Okay, all in favour?
Aye.
Against? Okay, received. Okay, we go to page 21, adoption of the 2025 annual report, item 6.1.
I'm keen to move that.
Oh,
And I'm happy to second it. Kia ora.
5, yep.
I'd like to second that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we're going to take all 5 of them at once.
Yes, I'd like to do that.
Okay, well, Rick, you want to
Yeah, do
discussion around that?
Awesome to get that report. Thanks. Any hard copies at the moment? I don't know, but I'm keen on having a hard copy. Great work, and it just really outlines what we've done. It's awesome to read. It's fantastic, and a really good document for the public to look at as well. It's not just all numbers. Sometimes in the past, it's just been a lot of figures. Now it's got really interesting, detailed reports. So I thank staff for that. Now, those 4 missing pages, are they the audit stuff?
Yep. They're in there now.
They're at the bottom. They're not on my one, but
Oh, okay.
they're in there, are they?
Steve, from Deloitte you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, they're in there somewhere, are they?
Yep.
Okay, cool. No, thank you. It's awesome.
Okay, and Jack, you got any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to tautoko Rick's comments and congratulate the staff on a very comprehensive report and also on a very good financial result. Something to be proud of. Yeah, if we've got hard copies, I wouldn't mind taking a couple away to give to people rather than give them access to the digital. But that whole report will be online, won't it? It'll be on the council's website, won't it? Yeah. Okay, well, in that case, if we don't have any hard copies, I'll just refer them to that. But I'm very proud of this report. It shows a lot of hard work by the staff and council and a wonderful result. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'd just like to invite a couple of people to speak to it, like we have got Benny from Deloitte's, and then I'd like Bruce to speak on behalf of the council afterwards. So, Benny, welcome. Just introduce yourself.
Benny Brennan, I'm the audit partner, appointed on behalf of the OAG to sign off the audit report. And I believe, yes, my name's Lep, I'm the audit manager. Just do what I normally do. And yep, sure. So I'll take our report that's been circulated as read. I won't do a quick page turn, but I'll pause on, I don't know exactly where it is on your pages, but we have an audit of focus, areas of focus dashboard. I'll use Dash and I'll just run through some of the areas. And what I might do is you would have seen we've issued a report like this at the planning stage. The only thing that's really different, so overall, look, it's been a pretty good audit. It's very clean. When you look at audit differences and things, it's pretty standard in terms of the focus areas year on year. The only main change this year was the once-off transaction involving the divestment of MMH and that changing into a different type of investment. Look, there's a lot of technical complexities that goes into the accounting for that. That's actually a lot of hard work and effort that goes into that. Look, and what I've said, that's why the accounts will probably show some big numbers and swings, between council and the group or whatever, and that's all to do with the accounting complexity. So what we've done, we actually started looking at that transaction during the amendment of the LPP already. So going into the audit, we just looked at what management's done. There was external advice taken on accounting treatment of that, worked through all of that. tested that transaction. And look, cut a long story short, at the end of the day, we're happy with how it's treated in the accounts, how it's been reflected. There's one observation that you'll see on the summary of omitted disclosures, and that is around, again, it's a technical requirement under the accounting standards when you do something like this, that you make certain disclosures of what's termed as discontinued operations. It's a technical term on the face of your profit and loss statement. Those disclosures have been made in the note, so they are there, they're just not in the right place. We think that is entirely appropriate given the audience, given the nature of the organisation, and the information is pretty clear throughout the report. So we're comfortable with that disclosure sitting the way it is, although technically it should have been somewhere else. So, but happy to take questions on anything, but I thought I'll deal with that one.
Okay, I'll just open the floor up for questions from the councillors. Well, I've got one. I'd just like to say, you deal with a lot of councils.
Yeah.
How efficient has our council been, with the MMH and everything on top of their normal daily, requirements to service the, an audit?
Yeah. Look, I've said it before, say it again. I think it's one of the more efficient ones. Yeah, if not personally one, top of my list. Yeah, I'd say in terms of dealing, and I'm speaking in the context of dealing with an audit, providing information, getting on top of issues and potential complexities such as this, pretty early.
Well done, team.
Yeah, good. So, yeah, credit to management on that.
Okay, there's no other questions.
Got one.
Oh, John.
Just from an audit point of view, how often do you audit a council before a new auditor comes in, like a new firm?
It comes down to rotation requirements set by the OAG. So typically I'd be on it as the engagement partner for 7 years. Then there's a mandatory rotation. As to whether another firm comes on, that's an OAG decision at the end of the day, whether they want to take that in-house to audit New Zealand or themselves, or put that out to other firms. But in terms of the actual signing appointed auditor, the individual, it's a 7-year rotation.
Thank you.
I've just got one other issue. There was just a highlight of a conflict of interest in there that you highlighted in your report.
Sure, I can cover that.
Yeah. So if you'd like to cover that.
Yeah, so that point, so we got some more information last night on that. First of all, so the reference to the SSP measure that we talk about there should actually be 2.2, not 3.2. So we'll correct that in the final document. And it's to do with, so when we tested, there's a measure around vulnerable communities and flood-prone marae and funding that gets allocated to that. So throughout that process testing, we identified a staff member made somebody internally aware of a conflict of interest. So did the right thing and said, yeah, there's a conflict here. We asked for, okay, what is the process when this happens? And the process is supposed to be, gets approved by someone, and there's a plan put in place to manage it. Up until yesterday, was not provided with a signed conflict of interest form or anything. So we got that last night. So it was declared, it was approved, but it was done in July. So effectively after the event. So it's a retrospective. So the point is not about, it's a best practice observation. These things should be done beforehand. So we will update the wording to reflect all the facts 100% accurately, and council and the management can respond and take accordingly. So because we want it to be factually correct. But as I said, new information came to light yesterday.
Thank you. Okay, there's no other questions. I think I'll get Bruce to speak on this report. A lot of great work gone in from your team, Bruce. So
thanks, Chair. Yeah, pleasing result of the report, particularly given the complexities with the Martin Maritime Holdings transaction. I just want to acknowledge the finance team, in particular Simon, for undertaking that piece of work. It was a very complex piece of work, a one-off piece of work that we probably never undertake again. So that was very good. In terms of the audit control findings, you'll note in the report, none of them fell into the red apostrophe category or into the orange or amber category. And it's good that we actually find some findings because it provides us an opportunity to make some improvements. And I've noted management comments in that report where we intend to make some reviews, improvements, and that'll be tabulated with the audit findings and the management comments and taken through audit and risk and the action sheet. So we can keep track of those things, let you know what we're doing to address them. But overall, a very pleasing report, and again, very happy to receive an unqualified audit report. So,
outside of the MMH deal, what other highlights have been for you?
I think the achievement of our levels of service, over the past 3 years, we've seen an increase in the number of levels of service that we're actually achieving. And this is the most that we've actually achieved in the past 3 years. And of those that we didn't achieve, 4 of those were outside of our control. So I think that's a really good, something council should be proud of, actually achieving those levels of service. And some of the ones you aren't, they're out of your control anyway. So, and other than that, I think the forward to the report and the amount of volume of work being done by council is, again, a very good achievement and something council should be proud of. There's a lot of work happening. It's reflected in that.
Okay, so around that, how do we communicate that success through our comms team? Because there's still a level of, I suppose, and Amy and Jack would understand, high level,
Very high
misunderstanding of what NRC does still. And I would really like this to figure out how we can realistically get our comms team to promote the success of this last term through whatever. Because, we need to keep this rolling because, we're under pressure from government, as everybody's aware of it, but we need to show success somehow. And I don't expect you to answer that now, but it'd be good to see a success plan come out, rolled out in the next couple of months.
Absolutely. And I take that point on board and we'll take that away. And it's something that we should be proactively doing because this is our annual report. It does state what we're doing, it does state what we're achieving. And the public don't actually see that. So we'll take it away. And I'll work with Oriel and her team and we'll give effect to that.
Okay, Rick?
Oh, look, I totally agree. I mean, I'm very happy with it, but there's a lot of criticism out there too in the number of increasing staff numbers. And so I'm very keen, talk about levels of service to push the fact that we wouldn't get it done if we didn't have the staff. So I really think that's really important. Because I've heard several times that, the doubling of staff, well, since actually it's just particularly referring to me being on council, since I've been on council, it's gone from 182 to 300 and whatever it is now. So people have picked up on that and I'm very supportive of it and I would like to know that we wouldn't get, and I've told people we wouldn't get done what we get done if we didn't have the people. So I think that's part of the message as well. Very important part of the message.
Yes, thank you. This is a question for the auditors. In governance and valuation of investment assets on page 181, you talk about we raise a recurring control finding in relation to the fact the council continues to hold investment in 6 funds that do not produce audited internal controls reports. I assume these are all private equity investments? Yeah. Okay, there's none that are not PE. Okay, thank you.
Oh, Bruce?
Chair, I'm just wondering whether Steve Watini wishes to make a comment. No, he has a memo in the report as well.
It's ask the question if you'd like to respond to your audit, Steve.
Good everyone. As I wrote, I felt that it was a good report. Sort of, as was spoken about before, there's a lot of information and understanding out there which is not necessarily correct, and trying to deliver against that backdrop presents difficulties. Like if you generate a surplus, then there's going to be, well, why didn't we get a rate cut? And whereas if you had a deficit, well, why didn't you raise the raises or cut the services? So I think that the result that's been achieved is a fair one that sort of placates both sides. The measurement, there's some that we haven't achieved, but I also believe that the measures that we have aren't static and that they should reflect the changing times. So each year, it's not just a rubber stamp of those measures that you measure your success by, but they should be something that are viewed every year, and they are, and that's cool. The audit process, yeah, I've been through some real crappy ones over the years, but this one with the complexities, and don't underestimate the significant complexities that were involved. Simon showed me a sheet of some of the changes in that, and even as a qualified accountant, my head was spinning, so that was one of the issues that I had in the back of my mind that could impact on the signing of this specific set of accounts. But they got that done, and the relationship between the council and the auditors is a robust relationship where you can discuss things. So the report that we've received today is not a surprise. They have circulated it before, and when you delve down, as you've done in relation to the best practice, Chair, that's the type of discussion that we need around it. But overall, I thought it was a good result, and that the result produced was a good, fair result as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, no other comments? All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Okay, received. Well done. Well done, team. Okay, if we go to page 200.
Just if I could, was there anything else that you
I
wanted
was
to add?
wondering if anybody, you wanted us to talk to the other areas, but as I said, I took it as read.
Are we done?
If you're done, all we need to do from here is just the logistics around signing. There's a representation letters, a couple of them that need signing, and there's some inquiries, final inquiries around any other subsequent events that we need to receive back.
I think we'd like to sign that conflict of interest off before you settle it.
Yeah.
I think we need to sort that. I've talked to John about it. So we've got 48 hours, is that right?
Yeah. No, we
Okay.
It's all right.
Just to acknowledge Benny and Aleph as well, like it's great having a good positive engagement with our auditors, and just to acknowledge we're in a good space working with our auditors, and just appreciate the way you go about your work with us as well. Been here for a little while, and I remember that hasn't always been in this space. So just thanks for you and your team and the work that you do with us as well. So kia ora.
And from our side, the same management yourselves. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if it's okay, if we can excuse ourselves.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Great effort. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Okay, we just go to page 200, item 6.2, financial report for August 2025. A report from Taka Skipworth, financial accountant. Do I have a mover and a seconder for it to be received? Okay. Any issues with the report before it's received?
Very early in the financial year, it's too early to make any comments in my view.
I think that's taken as pretty well everyone's discussion. Okay, all in favour?
Aye.
Against? Okay, it's received. Okay, we go to page 205, the Tamariri business case, item 7.1. We've had a team working on this. It's good to see Tui Shortman online. We've got Justin. No, Justin's not here, but we've got Ruben is here, and he's been working as well. We've got 5 recommendations.
Chair, I'd be happy to move.
Okay, Tui will move.
Need a second.
Okay, so Marty to second. Okay, Tui, the floor is yours. You'd like to...
Can you hear me? I'm just very happy that we've come to this stage. We were able to achieve this within our term. I want to say thank you to our consultants. It's a complex catchment, Taumarere, but I believe that within the document we got the right balance in terms of promoting hapu-led restoration in this catchment, and the opportunities around wetlands and even, international exposure and support. I think it's a good tool for us to move forward. And thank you to Ruben and everybody. Thank you to the governance team, Ngāti Hene, for leaning in as well. Kia ora.
I'd like to say something. Tui and I and Joe met with Pita Tipene and Ngāti Hene Tui, I've forgotten his name. Sorry, can you remind us? We sat in their shed at their place at Maramaku, and we discussed it 2 years ago. And as an aspiration of our council and making sure Ngāti Hene were aligned. And I thought that was a great moment that we all came together and with an aspiration. It's taken us 2 years to get it over the line before the elections. So I think well done. We did go for the whole of the Bay of Islands, but realised that was a big aspiration. But especially personally, my aspiration is sediment into the ocean in the Bay of Islands. Needs to be better. And as an avid, as a keen fisherman and diver, I see evidence of that sediment all the time. So that's my aspiration. So, Marty?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I'm happy to second the recommendation that it be received. It's a very good start, but I would like to see a bit more done to make it an attractive investment document to work up a bit more on the potential financial returns from the actions done, from the mitigation measures. I think it's been a little bit light there, and I would like to see more emphasis on that. I've always, for my whole term, 2 terms being here, promoted the idea of a productive riparian management buffer, or a meaningful productive riparian buffer where there's actually an economic return. Remember a few years back with the SNAs that landowners were up in arms about a land grab. Well, what is to try and work out, or council to try and work up the potential income within that riparian strip, whether it be rongoa or whether it be harakeke. I heard on the radio the other day, harakeke being made into paper or into linens, flax clothing. It's a high value product. The other one is, it does touch on it in the document. I see on page 46, but I'd like to see also some actual dollars in, dollars out for some people, just to get that extra lift in investment and attraction to it. For instance, oils from Manukau and Kanuka. It touches on honey and aquaculture downstream, but there's a lot of on-land activity, tuna, watercress, rongoa, timber even in that strip.
I think it will unfold though as it progresses.
That's what I want. That's what I want to see happen.
Yeah. And I think
I'm saying great first step.
And speak to it. There is environmental critics being promoted at government level at the moment. I'm not sure where that is yet. It's a hard one to follow how it's going to work, but I think all that your aspiration will be unfolded, Marty, as time goes by to make these things happen. Joe, and then.
Thank you, Chair. The last really deep dive report on the sediment in the Bay of Islands was OSHA's 2020. I don't think there's been another one, but of the 430,000 tonnes of sediment entering the Bay of Islands a year, 79% was from the Tomereri. And with all this work, are we actually be able to measure that we're having a significant reduction in that volume? What's in place to actually, that's the true monitoring of success of this catchment management. There's a macro reduction in that tonnage. I just wonder if the staff could tell me what's in place to actually monitor that progress in those terms.
Chair, Joe. It's a really good point, and it's something that we've grappled with the KMR investment. From my perspective, a decision around monitoring the success of the business case would be taken at the time the decision is made around the level of investment. So what we've presented here is a case for change and a case for investment. The next steps is for an entity to be set up for council to make a decision around its investment, but also for partners to come in and identify investment. And it's at that point that a decision needs to be taken around how we monitor the improvements that are happening, bearing in mind that this business case presents an investment window of around about 20 years, assuming we start at the lower end of the spectrum. The other part of it is we've acknowledged in the business case that we hadn't undertaken detailed clues modelling that would model or predict the sediment reduction scenarios. So that's another thing that a future council could decide on to support its decision making around the investment. So the very quick answer, Councillor Carr, is I would expect as part of an investment decision there would be decisions around how we monitor improvements in sediment reduction over time.
That's good.
Yep.
A subsequent question, well, that's good. Has there been any work done to actually microscopically inspect the sediment and track it back to parent rock sediment, say out at Te Rafti Inlet, and actually so we can understand what part of the catchment it's coming from?
Yeah. So as part of that NIWA work that you mentioned, there was the core samples were analysed for the source of sediment, so it was able to identify whether it came from pasture, how old it was, and that sort of thing. But as you mentioned, it's a fairly old report. It sort of comes down to a decision on how much to invest in the science around this upfront versus getting on and doing some work as well. So really, I would say that that's a future decision, and it really comes down, because what we're seeking today is endorsement of this as a case to use as a platform for future decision making, rather than making the decision at this point in time.
So the reason why I'm asking this is over 320,000 tonnes coming out of the Tomeriri River. We should know where it's coming from. And I suggested this previously. I've actually met with some geologists who take it back to the Ngāpipito River, where there's what we call grade erosion, significant grade erosion. And that's evident by what you're seeing at the bottom of Turntable Hill. And, you know, what we've got to do is actually do some macro intervention in this catchment and for the health of the Bay of Islands. So I'd like that recorded so that it's can be referenced that the Ngāpipito River is the source of most of the sediment, I've been advised, and that's discharged from the Tomeriri catchment, and that we really got to put in a parallel program to address that. And there's some good engineering advice we can get on how you do grade stabilisation in such a river. What's happening is that there's an eruption. There's it's been quarried. It's all volcanic rock that's been quarried, and that in the vicinity, and that discharged a whole lot of ash and it went right up the Ngāpipito, and that had a hard layer, and the hard layer has been eroded, and now it's cutting into this ash, and it's the source of most of the sediment, I understand. And anyway, I'm not the geologist, but I can refer you to people if you'd like. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, I think John and then
Awesome. Just wondered what the roadmap was going forward with all the catchments we have throughout Northland. And we seem to have a big case here, a lot of money being spent. I hope we're going to learn. I'd hope you follow the science. I'd always be looking for a scientific outcome, or using the science to find out what the problem is. And I'll come back to Kaipara Moana, the Kaipara, and I'll probably harp on, but we really need to see what's working well there and what's not. And it's 5 years before you actually get a result, and we should have been doing this years ago. So yeah, it changed our way of thinking. Well, a cabbage tree is the right answer, or it's a flax, and all these things take a long time to get going. So I hope, and the other thing is I'm hoping there will be some West Coast, like Hokianga, that will get some of this sort of work done as well. Thank you.
Yeah, just in response to Joe, I remember being on the Waitangi River Catchment Group that there were, I forgot the type of core sampling they can do, but I mean, they know that there was passion fruit and keri because there's a layer there in that sampling of that. So certainly we can monitor that from time to time by doing those core samples to see how much has come down in 2026 and whether the big storms or whether it's just a natural as you're taking up Pipitoa. So it can be done on a stage basis.
Okay, well, that's a bit of feedback going forward to the next council.
Okay. People involved have reached out to Peter Tipene too, just to explain what's going on in his rohi. Yeah.
No other discussions? Jack?
One brief thing. Look, I'd just like to congratulate everybody for a report the language is fantastic, and the structure and the thrust of it's really good. Just one little minor point is there's absolutely no reference to any biosecurity or weed and pest control in terms of even the legislation that's covered there. I think we should have had a reference to the Regional Pest Management Plan and also a draft biodiversity plan, because if for no other reason that if you include biodiversity credits and as a way to fund it, then you need to protect that biodiversity in those plantings and whatever you're using to assess your credits, and you could lose it all to, you could lose all your wetlands to glyceria and you wouldn't have a wetland. So what I'm saying is, well, I hope that operational plans that fall out of this take account of the costs and the programs that need to be undertaken to make it work. Thank you.
I just want to pick up on John's comments. I'm a bit confused where we are now, because we do Kaipara Moana got kicked off, and then we were going to do Hokianga, and the money got transferred to
No.
So it's still sitting there for Hokianga.
Yep.
So Hokianga is next on the list, John. Okay, so I hope.
Yeah, it's still on the list.
John, just to clarify.
I think it'd be good to explain it, John, where we sit, and because we've got 15 more harbours after this one. So
the Hokianga funding that was made available there has now been allocated to a restoration project for Lake Māori. So there's currently no additional funding that's sitting there for future catchment business cases. We've allocated and spent the putea that has been allocated, and it'll be a kōrero for a future council to consider. And I know part of the allocation for the tamarere was on the basis of this was the first step in the wider Bay of Islands catchment. So again, there's no active program at the moment, and it'll be something that we'll need to put on the table for a future council as to what do you want to do as a next step in this space, and also then a kōrero around and where does that funding come from.
Okay, so we'll go back to the case 7.1, where recommendations of 5 items. We have 2 mover and a seconder. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Well done.
Go, Ruben.
Just a kōrero to staff and to Tui and Māori and representatives from Ngāti Hini. It's been a long journey to get to this point, and we had the target of getting it done before within this term, and we've just hit it in the last council meeting. But just a recognition, I guess. The Kaipara Moana business case took 6 years. There's a lot of kōrero that goes to get everyone to agree to something like this. So just acknowledgement to Ruben and the staff and our councillors that were there as well.
I think it's actually moved with speed when you think.
Yeah, pretty good.
We sat around a table at breakfast with Peter and his group 2 years ago. I think that's well done.
Yeah, just adding that to Ngāti Hine, well done Ngāti Hine. It's a really whole of catchment approach, and they've been great in being able to drive it.
Yeah, we had Penny Simmons, we picked her up from Waitangi and we took her, they put on a lunch for her and we promoted it all. And, yeah, got it underway. Okay, well done. Right, if we go on, like to turn to page 290, the risk pool update to trustee, item 7.2. Got Bruce Howes. We've got 2 recommendations here. Do we have a mover and a seconder? I'll move it.
Happy to second it.
Go on. Okay, we've actually been over this at workshop time. I don't think we need to take any time to discuss it. Bruce has done a great job. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Okay. Okay. 320, the approval of updated risk management policy 7.3 by Carla. We've got Carla
Yep,
here.
I'm keen to move those 2 recommendations.
Geez, you're off the block. Right.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. We've got a seconder, Amy.
Sure.
All right. Any discussions? Rick, you couldn't.
Well, I'm just keen to get it going. It's a little bit difficult to read when it's all those different colours, but get the gist of it. So looking forward to the final document. So it'll make it a bit easier reading. But I know it's just updating, but it's interesting, and thank you for that. On top of things, it's good.
I think it's pretty well straightforward, this one. So all in favour?
Aye.
Against? We'll see.
Can I just check with Mel? I see our 2 councillors are dropping in and out online. Is our connection still working all right?
I'm not dropping in or out. I'm here and listening, speaking when I have something to share. Kia ora.
Sorry, Councillor Jones, I couldn't see.
I can't see that.
Couldn't see that you were there.
I'm fine too, thank you, Jono. I'm observing. I'm multitasking as a mother does over school holidays. Thank you. I don't think you need to watch me make my slow cooked pork roast at the same time. But thank you, everyone.
Kia ora. No, definitely here.
Okay.
Apologies, I couldn't see you there.
Okay, let's go to page 3.4.
So, Mr. Chair, just in defence of the CE, our screen didn't have Tui or Peter Lucas on it either. It looked like you dropped off. It just, I don't know why they did, but.
Well, if you need technical assurance, please speak to the technical team. I'm here, as you can see. Is there a concern that there is a technical difficulty on your end? I have already asked at the beginning of this meeting for a sound check. Is the sound working at your end?
Yes, we'll just check with Mel. Is everything working?
Is there anything further to ask about connectivity, which obviously is working?
Okay, let's move on. These thumbs up.
That's a good idea. Let's move on. Kia ora.
Okay, so we're going to page 326, item 7.4, Te Tiriti health check. And we've got Oriel here, and we've got 2 recommendations. Do we have a mover and a seconder?
You need to move those 2.
Okay, Amy. I see Rick's little hand up.
Well, sorry, Jake.
He was pretty quick with the finger. Okay, Amy, would you like to speak to it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be keen to hear if the staff want to highlight anything, but I guess just from my perspective, appreciation to the team for all the work that has been done. We've had a couple of really good workshops with council and also with Te Ruarangi to discuss this and provide feedback. And I think it's a really useful document that will be a really good information piece for the incoming council post-elections and hopefully just continue the good momentum and help keep things moving forward. And I guess proud of what we've achieved, and then always really great to have the next steps and further improvements set out for us so it's nice and clear. So yeah, thank you very much for all the work, and look forward to watching it unfold. Kia ora.
Okay, Rick, would you?
I just want to back up what Amy said. It's been a great experience, thanks, and really enjoyed it. It's very detailed. We spent a lot of time on it, and I think the amount of time we spent on it and the period of time over that time has produced a really good result. So it's really rock solid, and I hope it carries on into the next triennium. So I'm sure it will, but I'm very supportive of it. So.
Okay. Oriel, you got any discussion about it? Oh, Marty, I didn't see you.
Yeah, Jeff, thanks very much for the report. Noted in the executive summary, this report follows a stage 1 report. Consider the partnership between Council and iwi and Hapu to be in a strong place. I hope that continues in 4 years' time. I really hope that there is a successful pro Māori Awards result. Personally, I think it's an absolute imperative to have a guarantee that there's Māori representation around this table for us to be able to continue a strong or develop a stronger relationship with Māori. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to just acknowledge that it is an acknowledgement of this council that even with all the legislative reforms and changes that have come upon them, they've still been able to show what an exemplar relationship looks like. And an exemplar relationship isn't always about agreement. So that has been important too. There's been times where Te Ruarangi have represented a different opinion or a nuanced opinion, and we've still been able to put submissions in together, and we've also still been able to work with Te Ruarangi to be efficient in delivering what we see are important issues that are facing this region, including responses to Kalepa, including the biosecurity risk, but also to the development of water and whenua. Some of the main things I think that have been great examples of the partnership in practice, Wānanga Waiora, that was part of, I think, some of the positive comments that were made, and also to the ability for Kaitiaki to demonstrate that work. So I think that's a really important part of the ongoing work. The real challenge here is going to be the implementation, the limited resources, and being able to focus with our council on how that looks, and also to supporting Te Ruarangi to feel that their voice and their representation is still an important part of governance decision making. So, but I do want to acknowledge this council outgoing for the work that they have held and for the debate that has happened. I also want to acknowledge the Te Raki councillors that have been part of that debate as well too. But I think the iwi and Hapu representatives on Te Ruarangi are really proud of what we've been able to achieve. The Tiriti Health Check has summarised that. So that would be my view. So implementation, Chair, given you're coming back, just to say that will be the next part of the work and how that looks for the incoming council. Kia ora.
Well, out of this report, Oriel, which I've sent you an AI review copy, it's got 4 recommendations. That's Te Tiriti implementation plan with clear milestones. That's 1. Establish a Maori advisory group for guidance and oversight. 2. Expand staff capacity programs with applied learning focus. Okay, and systematically embed Te Tiriti principles in the policy and service delivery. So that's what's come out of the report, is recommendations. And so looking forward to the next term.
Busy time. Not a week to
Just
do.
one question from me, Mr. Chair, in response to your recommendations. You just said that they were AI generated recommendations. Could you advise us what model you used?
Oh, I just put it into whatever it is on the screen. Copilot. Give me an overview. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any Jack?
Look, I'd like to tautoko what has been said, but I'd just like to make comment on the report itself. I think the report is incredibly comprehensive. It's very in-depth and, in my view, represented really good value for money in terms of what it costs. So, and just one final comment. When I read these reports like Taki, I'm always reminded of the leadership shown by Penny Smart in the previous term to really help more than anybody to kick this all off. So I'd like to acknowledge her. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, any other discussion? All right. So we have a mover and a seconder.
Sorry, my hand's not up, but just I thought I would say a few words as chair of Te Ruarangi too, and I want to tautoko what has been said about the relationships and everybody's efforts in the putting together of this second iteration of a review of how we're tracking along, and best of luck for everyone for next term. I hope the journey continues onwards and upwards. Kia ora.
Okay, no other discussion. Amy and Rick have moved and seconded. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Okay, and carried. Okay, are we all okay? Keep moving along.
Yep. Right.
Okay, let's go to page 398. Item 8.1, the Chair's report to Council. I'd like to move it.
I'll second.
Second, Joe. Any discussion? All in favour?
Didn't realise it was dinner with
One question from me, Mr. Chair.
John, can you just wait, Peter Lucas? John had his hand up.
Some of the technical problems we have, we can't see Peter Lucas or to his hands when they go up, so I presume someone hopefully can.
Okay.
Just looking at sewage, it seems to have gone backwards.
Hold on, Mike. Proving my report, not Jono's.
I took the hit, sorry.
Yes. Okay, Peter Lucas, you got a question about the Chair's report?
Yeah, I was just wondering if there was any update since you went to Thailand and gave a presentation to attract or to compound investment into Te Tai Tokerau. What has happened since then? Very little information has been available around the proposed Thailand investment into the northern region since your visit and conversation with those that invited you. Of course, the council paid for the trip, but where did that land?
I look forward to catching up offline afterwards. I'll give you a call since you're not in the room. So
it's just an important thing, and I do want to mention it because investment is, of course, the purpose of that trip. And I just noticed that it hasn't come up in any of the Chair's reports. I think it's significant, and we should be aware of it. Kia ora.
Okay. Do we have all in favour of the Chair's report?
Aye.
Against? Okay, received. Okay, on to the Chief Executive's report, 8.2.
I'll move.
Okay, have you seconded it? You've already seconded, John?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Joe and John. Okay, it's a good report. John, would you like to start, or Joe? One of you?
Yeah, look, I'd just like to say I'm pleased the push that's been given to the work at Kiri Waipapa. You know, we should be able to have the information needed for the District Council's proposed District Plan Hearings Committee in time, which is good. And yeah, thank you, Louisa and staff, for giving that a good push, Jono. All good.
Okay, John.
Just worried about the sewage system on here. It's gone backwards in this last period of time. I'm not sure what the reason is. Have been campaigning saying that most of these wastewater plants have improved in our term, but because we don't control them. But it does appear they're going backwards. It's not seasonal, is it? What's the reason?
Through the Chair. It's a tricky question to answer, but part of the tables reflect a 12-month period, so some of it's historic. Probably the most concerning matter from previous reports is Kaiwaka. There's some significant problems there which we've taken enforcement action in relation to. That's if you want the new one, that's of particular concern.
You go straight to the Kaiwaka. Thanks.
Is that storm related?
No, it's just that plan does require upgrade and haven't nailed it yet.
Okay. I'd just like to speak about the trapping information. It's trapping's a big bane of my life. I know it's a date that I do with my wife every Sunday, go and clean and trap. But seeing this new AI technology, it's pretty cool. So well done bringing that up. I think that's a great, opportunity. Now we're under pressure financially with Forever 50. I think if these can be installed, we're going to save a lot of money and time. So thanks for that update, Don. Anybody?
Oh, Chair, sorry.
Yeah, I think this is a question for Louisa. These vessels that sink and then we recover them, in this case, were we able to recover any costs or do we have to wear that? And if so, how's our budget looking? Because this is happening quite a lot more frequently than in the past.
So it depends. It really depends on the vessel and the owners. So if they're insured, we can often recover the cost. But as you know, there's an increasing problem with derelict vessels that are sitting on moorings that just sink completely in bad weather. We regularly overspend on our recovery of vessels. Jim manages to balance it with other things within his budget, but it is an ongoing issue. Same in Auckland. It's a problem.
And there's very little, sorry, supplementary, there's very little we can do about these derelict vessels until they sink, or until they start to take on water. As long as they're waterproof, there's not much we can do. Is that right?
What the team tend to do, both in the Bay Islands and here in Whangarei, is they're on their patrols. If they see a vessel that's particularly derelict or is looking like it's going down in condition, they'll put notices up asking the owners to contact the team if they've got particularly if they've got concerns around the fact that it may sink. But yeah, other than that, they can't really do anything else.
But Chair, we also get into a legal situation as well. If we actually proactively intervene, then we've got liability as well. So it's quite a messy route to go down. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Just on Coast Care on page 408, I think it's 408. Yep, I just want to thank again because I know Laura and her team do a fantastic job, and it's engaged right throughout, and it's getting really good community support, especially down in my area. There's heaps of people out there, heaps of people supporting it. So, and you know, we always say that if somebody plants a plant on there, they're not going to drive the four-wheel drive over it, hopefully. So that's the way to win. And I believe getting people involved is the way to win, and the education is winning as well, because that vehicles on beaches is just always a problem. So I think we're doing a great job at it. Thank you.
Amy?
Thank you. Just going back to your earlier comment about the predator-free, that emerging technology and use of AI, it's really exciting. I went and saw a presentation about some of the stuff that they're doing out there at Whangarei Heads, and yeah, it's pretty cool because I always consider biosecurity to be a bit depressing, no offence, but it always feels like a really, really hard battle. So it's really exciting to see some new efficiencies and new tools coming out that can make it hopefully a lot easier and more effective to deal with predators. I just wanted to comment on page 412, just the gold clam update around our biosecurity preparedness for the coming season. And that all looks really good. So much appreciation to everybody who's been working away to kind of bring everybody together and have a good plan for Northland. I just had a question around our own staff and our usual movements between freshwater sites for science and monitoring over summer. Have we looked at the potential risk of our business as usual being a vector? Just because my understanding is by the time we detect the clam, potentially they will have been in place for some time already. My understanding is that's what happened in the Waikato. So just wondering, have we looked at our biosecurity protocols for staff and equipment that will be moving between freshwater sites this summer?
I'll answer that very good. Yes, look, it is front of mind, and it's a good issue to raise, Amy, I think, coming into summer, not only for that, but to work being done in our lakes at the moment with divers. So there is specific hygiene requirement for divers working between those lakes, cleaning wetsuits, etc., field gear like fish nets and that business. However, you can never be too safe with this. So it's a good reminder, and I've just made a note back to all those people that within the organisation that might be taking small water samples or anything like that from sites that we believe are clear, still need to behave as though some of these areas are contaminated. And I've made that note. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I just had one other comment. I can't remember what the page is. page 415, Community Engagement Local Election Campaign. I just want to congratulate the team on a really excellent, positive and informative campaign. I've seen quite a lot of stuff coming through social media. Our talented Kawati being a bit of a star there, but I think it's been really well pitched. I hope we get a really good voter turnout. But it's just good to see that we're doing our best to make it, to raise the awareness and engage a broader audience. Then there's a bunch of people that we know will vote, but there's a whole lot that we want to kind of bring into that, understanding why local elections are relevant to them and why it's so important that they vote. So appreciation to the team for all the good work done there. Yep. Thank you.
Really good.
Last one is Jack.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Amy for stealing my script here. And I'd really like to acknowledge the work by the media and liaison and engagement team in this last wee while. Not only the really high quality stuff they've done around the elections, but the really high quality social media messages and little videos and messages they've put up around a whole range of issues, many environmental issues, but also the sheer workload. There's been 3 media liaison stuff has been picked up, and 5 other and brief items been out to media. So there's been a huge amount of work has been done in the last month and a half. So thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay. So we've got to move it. Joe and John, all in favour?
Aye.
Right, against? Okay, received. Receipt of committee minutes, page 426, item 9.1. We've got 4 receipt of community minutes there. Can I have a mover?
Yeah.
Joe.
I'll second.
Amy, you're on one of those?
No, not on any, but I read them.
Okay, Joe, you got any discussion there?
Yeah,
regional transport?
Yeah, being our last meeting, I'd like to just acknowledge how the staff have really helped us with this regional transport committee. We did a 17A plus review, we'll call it. I just have found that all the engineers or the roading managers from the 3 road controlling authority councils have been really helpful. And I think to say they've actually enjoyed being able to address their specific council road networks personally, rather than being in the one big tank. And what we did do was we invited them to sit with their councillor at the committee table, so that there was just sort of an immediate response rather than referring to someone at the back. I think it's been well taken. Louisa and Chris Powell, I've found have been so helpful to me. In the past, I've always had to write my own submissions and things, and if we make a resolution to make some communication within a day or two, there's something on my desk or through, on the screen. It's good, and I'd say it's been a good vibe in there, Louisa. Thank you very much. Yeah. So yeah, Jono, it's start off fairly difficult. It's been last year or so. It's been a real pleasure, RTC. So
what's changed, Joe? What's changed?
I think the key thing was letting the councils take control of their road networks, and they got real ownership. Jim Sefton is his innovation he brings forward, what they're doing in Whangarei, etc., has been really good. Quite similarly, the Whanal's going through a bit of a difficult patch at the moment, which I'm sure they'll get through. But I think that the proof in the pudding is actually how resilient your road networks end up. And we put together a submission for our regional roading program to government, wanting significant money to build resilience, and they've helped us there. It was really good response from the government, but they came with a caveat. So we're going to fund this resilience, but we're no longer in the business of crisis management. So get your networks good, and if you can't deliver resilience, well, don't expect the government to keep coming in Santa Claus on crisis matters. And that was the message we got from the Minister of Transport. And I really think the road controlling authorities and NCTA really picked that up. And so we're pretty comfortable. The response we got from the Minister and from NCTA is they're pretty happy the way we approached it. We went right back to basics. We said 101 roadings, drainage, water management, and because the 2022 floods and all the maps of the damage, when we went around and checked them, there's generally a block culvert there or no water tabling and stuff. So it's a sound investment that we're doing, and we've been supported. So well, I should acknowledge the other council reps on that committee. They've just been hardworking and pretty quiet. No big press statements out, just getting on with the job.
Sounds like it was great leadership, Joe.
Oh,
well done.
Yeah, no, it was
you started off pretty at a low level and built up.
Yeah,
pretty proud of your efforts. So.
Yeah, no, and thank you, Louisa, for that, because you've been awesome, actually. Thank you.
Okay, so we've got other ones here. We've got civil defence.
Civil defence, right. Thank the team as well. The whole civil defence team. I think it's very good at the meeting that we're trying to keep everybody aware of the instances that could happen, because people get very complacent. When you're walking around the district, people are not even slightly interested in civil defence at the moment, because we've had a pretty quiet period. So I think they're doing a good job at raising awareness. Hopefully the multi-agency coordination centre is not too far away. It's looking promising. Looking forward to that. I do mention that at all the meetings I go to, because I think people are totally unaware of it, and they're also, like I've said, they just are expecting to carry on life as normal and not expecting anything to happen for a while. And obviously this Sunday is Tsunami Sirens kick off at the 2 minutes. I think we've almost got 100%, might be 2 that aren't firing at the moment, the new ones. But for anybody who asks, as far as I know, they're all firing, old and new at the moment, and looking forward to hearing those. Really looking forward to it, because people have gone on, and like we've said, at this civil defence, I did ask the question about other regions. Some regions have just completely decided to go with no tsunami sirens at all. I'm very pleased that we have at a huge expense, but I think it's very, very well received by the public.
I see.
And also the other ways of contacting. I think another question I asked was about what people actually listen to, and we do believe it's radio still is the main thing, which I'm quite surprised with. So every form of warning is good. So combination of the lot is the best.
I see it's going out to 5 to 6 million phones.
Yeah, amazing.
So is there a comms team around comms going out prior to this? So what is happening?
I think so.
We're aware of it because we sit on council. But
I think so. Definitely. You're going to say that, Louise?
Through the chair, yeah, there is a comprehensive comms plans that goes out to all the main stakeholders, but also goes out to all the communities and advising them that it happens.
So we get a text or something on our phones saying there's an alert coming? Is that how it works?
No, you talk about the warning through tsunami siren testing.
Yes.
So you won't get any text to say that it's happening.
Okay.
It goes out over our normal channels, Facebook and things like that, but it also goes out to specific community groups that and targeted communities that are actually in those high-risk areas, and also key stakeholders that are involved as well. Things like the campsites and things, so they'll get a specific email, things like that.
Okay.
So I think the biggest thing is the huge improvement in the actual text getting through, because 9 years ago they were getting through to like 10%. Now they're not quite 100, but they're very, very close. I mean, at least one person in every household should get the message. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, John.
Yeah, I get the alert on the phone where the phone goes berserk, and I think I've had that for about 4 or 5 years, and it's self-defence, I believe. But yes, earthquakes, tsunamis, all that sort of stuff. That's the best alert I've got
from your phone.
Yeah, it comes directly to the phone, but you've got to have the app on the phone, I think.
No.
It'll override
overrides everything.
I think I did put the app on years ago, though. But anyway, that's the only alert I'll get. I won't hear a siren, that's for sure. Thank you.
Okay, so we've got 2 other. We've got Audit and Risk and Investment Committee. Any discussions around those? Okay.
I'll have a small comment, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Chair. And I was going to say when Benny was here, it's very interesting to note that of some of the high risk items that come before the Audit and Risk Committee, bus fare money is one of them. In the scheme of things, it's a minuscule amount, but it's a comment that so many things are taken care of so well. That, you know, it's very, very functional. So Bruce, your team, Mandy, Kyla, Colin, Tamsin, all those reports, tremendous job that you're doing on behalf of things.
George. Thank you. Okay, so we've got Joe and Amy has moved and seconded. So all in favour? No. Against? Okay, so that's been received. Okay, if we go to page 447, Working Party Update Report, item 9.2. That the Working Party Updates report be received. Can I have a mover? I'll move. And a seconder? Jeff. Okay.
Joe's here.
Marty,
all of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, there's some errors in this too.
Okay, Joe.
Kaiarua, it's Marty, not myself. And down below to Tamariri. I think it's you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll take all the credits.
Boy, you wonder, man, Joe.
Just doing everything, Joe.
Just invite you in automatically.
Thanks. That's all good. Could I just comment on the the Kirikiri Waipapa one?
Yep.
Yeah. Really interesting information came forward because we were told that there was a flood that was recorded in missionaries' documents, diaries. It was actually John Butler in his diary in 1823, I think it was July the 23rd or something, 1823, about this flood. And anyway, we managed to get the height of the flood from the diaries where it was on the land, because it could actually be pinpointed. And the Heritage New Zealand staff have been really wonderful at this. And also the date and the time in the afternoon. And Louisa managed to actually tell us what time the tide was that day, which was good. So we had a flood 2 hours after high tide, and we've got a height, a datum for that, and that helps us when we're trying to look at the probability of flooding. It gives us another bit of data, because the 1981 flood has always been referenced as an outlier, and it's not such an outlier after all, because when we think of 1823, that catchment had no significant clearances in the upper catchment, no impervious surfaces and stuff like that. So it's quite interesting to see where that actually takes us when we work out our probabilities for flooding in the future.
But they still build houses there.
Yeah. Well, they lost a stack of timber, you see, and you're right, in the diary they managed to place where it was.
Oh, right.
So they know the flood height, and they lost their picket fence around the kitchen of Kemp House, which shouldn't have been Kemp House. It was built by John Butler, actually.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So it was quite interesting. Put a really history into it. So yeah.
Can I, Chair?
Yes.
With that report, I just like to find out where we are with the Waipapa NRC building, site and building. Is there any sort of update on that?
Not on this working party
No,
meeting yet.
but
if
you
you
know,
wait,
to me, this is, I can understand the flooding models, you know, understand your concern, but we've got staff in 2 different buildings. It's not ideal. You know, surely we're going to move forward on that sometime. We've owned that land for a long time. I just want to know when they're going to get a new building or if there's any discussion on it.
yep, John.
Kia ora, Chair. Kia ora, Councillor. The discussion has been through the investment committee is that it's on hold at the moment. Yes, there's a bit of land that's purchased there. However, given the kōrero at a national level around the form of local government, the call is that we should be holding to see how that plays out before we invest in building future buildings. Yes, we're in 2 different sites there, and we're constantly reviewing the accommodation that we provide for staff up there and the service that we provide for our community up there. We've got 1 front-facing building, 1 building that's not front or community-facing. It's doing the job at the moment, and I suggest it's a discussion for the next council once we know a little bit more about the future of local government.
So, to Chair, surely the results of the modelling and where the flood levels will be, because it's for NRC to have a building that's inaccessible if you have an event, and at what stage of an event does it become impassable. I think it's going to help inform us.
Well, then in that case, we should shift out of here because it's the same format, isn't it? This building will flood as well.
No, you might with a tsunami into here.
Still high levels of flooding and still get us here. So we've got to move on with it sometime. We can't look back on it.
I think it'll come through the next council, Rick. You can be sure of that. It's on the investment, as you're on the investment committee, so you know where it's talking. Peter Lucas.
Yeah, I think both are very good points raised. However, whilst we are always endeavouring to be very, very good employers, we're established to serve the community first and foremost. Rick's points are well made. However, I think moving forward, we really need to adjust our focus, considering the way in which we also have flexible working arrangements with our staff. We have a number that work from home, which is an opportunity for us to advance that work. But we do need to think about infrastructure, flooding, and so on is important. That infrastructure is seriously important, and we need to invest in it.
Okay. John, no? Okay. Any other discussions? Okay. So we've got Joe and Jeff have moved it. Also,
no, the Kaiō River, going well. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yep.
Sorry, Meg Tyler. One thing that did come to light though is there's always someone who hasn't heard about it, but then gets a bee in the bonnet and comes along and says, I haven't heard about this.
Right.
So we're aiming to improve the comms as well by putting out on every notice board we can, but really pleased that it is carrying on. The plan, looking good, just ready for good weather to help us have.
So how many people are you getting to a meeting?
15.
Okay, that's a good turnout.
About 15, maybe. Just trying to picture it.
Yeah, that's more than most of the other working parties that I sit on.
More than 15.
Okay,
yeah. That's including everybody in the room. Yeah. No, it's well represented and the representatives from the whole of the Rohe turn up.
Right.
Or someone is here that's able to speak on their behalf. So that's good. Well, good functioning group.
Okay. Any other discussion?
There's one other thing that is missing was no comment that there was te rangi at Matauri Bay. So if that can be included in a secretarial note.
Following month.
Following month. Okay. You're ahead of yourself.
All right, well, I'm just going to comment. So just to give me room to speak to it anyhow, because I have really appreciated working with te rangi, and it's been said again and again with Tākia, and actually getting things done around that table. Good discussion, good strong discussion, where there's anybody can speak anything to a degree. But such good progress that council's making in that respect and their relationship, and that is working well. And I hope it just builds that momentum.
Thanks for your words, Marty. Okay, now All in favour?
Aye.
Against?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
received. Thank you. Okay, we need to go to business, or public excluded.
Do that.
Okay, we've got
Peter.